Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Gebo the Shaman, and today we are talking about the sign of Sagittarius, Ascendant, in depth. So, if you have a Sagittarius Ascendant, a Sagittarius Rising, or Sagittarius Lagna, those are all terms for the same thing. So, Sagittarius Lagna or Ascendant or rising. So that means that Sagittarius was rising in the east at the time of your birth. So the rising sign is the sign that was rising in the east at the time of our birth, and this kind of sets the blueprint for our entire lives. From our personality to the way we think, a bunch of things. So it kind of, at that time that you were inhaling your first breath as a baby, as a newborn, that very moment you were basically inhaling the universe, the essence of the universe, and that kind of blueprint stuck with you. So this is why we look at the birth chart. So anyway, Sagittarius rising, Sagittarius Lagna. Alright, so what does that mean? What is Sagittarius rising or Sagittarius Lagna? It is basically, so if you have this sign, then that means that you want to see the world through Sagittarius lens. It also is an indicator of your personality. You would be more in the public sphere, like wanting to know what's going on with news and politics and things like that. It's really about principles. Like, you're a very principled person, very, sticking to your philosophies and your principles and your beliefs about the world. Things like that. So that means that you and this could really change. I mean, you could have a planetary placement or something like that where you kind of change your principles and your, whatever, depending on the situation, kind of thing. But this is just a general analysis of this. So Sagittarius rising, very into education, learning, higher education especially. You kind of want to discover everything there is about the world and kind of dive deep into the, get educated about as much as you can, kind of thing. This makes you a very smart person, very educated, also very morally and ethically driven. So, for example, you would hate to see someone, living by incorrect morals or bad morals or things like that. And that's just increasing in our societies nowadays. So, then we have, so yeah, that's kind of a little bit about your ascendant. I would say, look at your Jupiter placement for more information on the ascendant. What house is your Jupiter placed in, and is it aspecting your ascendant? What houses are aspecting? You can see more about that. Then we have Capricorn in your second house. So Capricorn is all about, well, let me just dive into the second house. So, the first house was about your physical appearance, your personality, things like that. Second house is about your savings account, your life savings, everything that you have saved over the years, like your material possessions, if you have some antique that's worth $1 million, that would also be considered savings. Or just like assets, your estate, your assets, things like that. So this is the wealth that you have saved and inherited and things like that. And Sagittarius is, and second house, geez, can't talk today. Second house is also the house of the gains of the mother. Why is that? Because it's 11th from the 4th house. The 11th from the 4th. So it's like the, what is your mother supposed to give you? It's supposed to give you food, nutrition, love, self-worth, belonging, acceptance, things like that. So it's also the things that you take in, the foods that you take in, breastfeeding, milk, cereal, things like that. It's like, so this represents your throat and mouth. It's like the things that you take in, things that you eat. So, it also represents your value, your well-being, your sense of self, things like that. And then so we have Capricorn here. So basically what that is it is basically the sign of Saturn. So someone with Capricorn in the second house, they would be very disciplined, structured, organized in terms of putting money into their savings. Because a lot of people, especially if you have Aries here, Aries would be like, oh good, I got money, now I'm gonna spend it. Spend it all, not leave a penny to be, saved. So, so Capricorn in the second shows you're disciplined with your money. You're disciplined with your savings. Or, you could not be, but this is what Saturn is trying to tell you. Discipline yourself with your savings. And maybe I'll give you more. This also shows that it might take you a long time to earn savings. You might have like you might have to work very hard to get any kind of money that you can save. Because for most people, they're living paycheck to paycheck and not having savings, which is very not good. Not good at all. So, you might have to work very hard until you're 35. And then at 35, Saturn starts to release the grip and starts helping you with your savings. So, then you have, second house is also about your value, your self-esteem, things like that. It's, Capricorn here can diminish that. You can be a very slow eater with this placement. You could be a slow eater, you could be a picky eater, you could not eat a lot, you could eat very little. And this also shows like some restriction in the value of yourself. Because it's like, essentially it's putting restriction there, Saturn. So you might have to work very hard on your self-esteem. Then we have the sign of Aquarius in the third house. So Aquarius in the third third house is all about, third house is about communications, younger siblings. It's about younger siblings and your relationship with your younger siblings, things like that. It is your communication. It is your courage. Why? Why is this house the house of your courage? Because it's the savings of the value of yourself, your self-esteem. So it's basically it's basically saying, like, if you have a very good self-esteem, it's saying, yeah, I am worthy, I am worthwhile, so I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna do this, and that takes courage. So, second from the second is the third. So, third house. House of courage, house of communications, house of younger siblings. The 11th house would be the house of older siblings. But anyway, let's see here. So, Aquarius here. So, you know, your younger siblings might be quirky, might be very eccentric, might be very kind of like Cancer, but more concerned with the entire world. You know, you might that's an interesting one. You might have like just a weird relationship with your siblings. Like, it might be distant, it might be, you know, there's something with that. Like, Aquarius is very out of the box, very humanitarian, so maybe you have adopted younger siblings. That could be the case. So, maybe your mother adopted, you know. And then we have, so, the house of your communication. So this is interesting. So you would be one to talk about, like, the affairs of the world, politics, religion, philosophy, things like that. It's like, you want to talk about the world, the, you know, politics and things like that. So it's kind of an interesting one. Yeah, you might be very eccentric in the way you speak. You might be very just like, you know, you might say things that are, you know, kind of just out of the box that nobody would have thought of. Just like say that out of the blue, and then it's like, oh, like an epiphany kind of thing. So anyway, what else? Then, yeah, this is like kind of what you're desiring, your courage. It's like you want to go out and improve the entire world. Like you could very well be a politician with this one. You could be a priest. You could be a humanitarian person, someone who, you know, lives their philosophy of life. And then we have, let's see, Pisces. We have Pisces in the 4th house. So for your 2nd and 3rd house, for more information on those are ruled by Saturn. So look at where Saturn is placed, and you'll have more information on that. All right. So for your 4th house, I would look at Jupiter. So Jupiter is actually ruling your 1st house and your 4th house. So I would look at Jupiter for the 1st and 4th house. And we have Pisces in the 4th house. So what is the 4th house? The 4th house is the house of your relationship with your mother, your home life. It is your your home life, your relationship with your mom, your just like your private inner emotional life. You know, your mom could have been very, foreign, very. Your mom could have been a foreigner. Your mom could have traveled to foreign places a lot. For the fourth house, also look at the moon. Any moon connection with the fourth house. Because your moon is your mind, and your moon is also your mother. So, then we have Pisces here in the fourth house. So, this might mean that you like to live abroad. You might want to settle and live in a foreign country. And, just kind of, people, there's people who live on like yachts and sailboats and things like that. So, who knows? You might be one of those people who like to live on the ocean, or something connected to the ocean, connected with the beach or something like that. Anyway, so then we have Pisces in the fourth. That's an interesting. That means that you might have changed homes often. You might have moved a lot in your childhood. You might have moved a lot in your childhood, and as far as your relationship with your mom, it could have been very, very rocky, very just kind of not the best. Your mom might have been a very spiritual person, or something like that. Anyway, it's kind of a unusual one, Anyway, then we have Aries in your fifth house. So, I would highly recommend looking at where your Mars is placed for this one. Aries in the fifth. Fifth house is the house of fun, play, creativity, sex, creative self-expression, things like that, like your sex life, your romantic life, your dating life. Fifth house is like the people that you date, and the seventh house is the marriage partner, as your spouse. So Aries in the fifth, that kind of very passionate, very romantic. Well, should I say romantic? That's more Venus. Aries in the fifth is very passionate. It gives that masculine energy during, sex or lovemaking, just like that, aggressive kind of masculine energy. And so that's Aries in the fifth. You might be one to do physical activities with your children. So, for example, sports, or something competitive, something physical. You might that might be something fun that you do with your children, I don't know, some sports or rock climbing, or something physical. So even hunting, or hunting or camping or things like that. So Aries in the fifth house makes you a very very aggressive communicator. You could, or not really communication, but just how your kind of your expression, or your I don't know, just there's this very masculine, aggressive, competitive thing, Also, you could be very competitive in your dating life. Like, for example, with your friends, or, you might be very possessive of your dating partner, not liking other guys looking at her or whatever, like stuff like that. So that just shows like some of your other side. So anyway, look at where your Mars is placed with this one, because that'll give you a better idea of this. So if your Mars is placed in Cancer, then you're going to be very emotional with your emotional, and it'll be like kind of aggressive and emotional in that way. So anyway, then we have Taurus in your sixth. So sixth house is the house of your daily habits, daily work routines, daily fitness, health, work routines, things like that. It's the house of your daily diet and things like that. So yeah, it's kind of, it's the house of your daily stuff. So let's see here. So we have Taurus in the sixth. So yeah, this shows you are a very, you could be very, could be one of those people who is, who works out to enhance their physical appearance or things like that. You could work out to kind of, help be kind of aesthetically pleasing. You might have that kind of materialistic, like objectification of yourself, where you kind of make yourself work out to look good, as opposed to be healthy or feel good. But also, Taurus is good health, so Taurus is very good with health and things like that. So, let's see here. So, yeah, Taurus in your sixth and Capricorn in your second shows that you're a slow eater. You might not like to eat very much, or just like, I don't know, there's just this like dietary kind of restriction, or like slow eating, things like that. So when you get older, that might change. You might eat a lot. You might eat, faster, or eat more. So I know that's the case with me. Like, when I was a kid, I ate so slow and just like took forever to eat anything. So then we have, all right, let's see here. So then we have Mercury in the third, in the in the seventh. Mercury in the seventh. So, all right, Mercury in the seventh. So, seventh house is the house of your relationships and things like that. Your marriage partner, your business relationships. Most often, it's going to be associated with your business, or your marriage partner, not your business partner. But your partner could be very charming, very witty, very just funny, very communicative, things like that. It's like you're a little bit more serious. You're more like educated, more you're more academic, whereas your partner would be more fun-loving, just wanting to talk and converse and like just chit-chat and like be funny and less serious and just kind of more playful and things like that. So that's Gemini in the 7th for you. So that's a great thing, you know, Gemini in the 2nd and the 7th. So then we have Cancer in the 8th house. So, you know, Cancer in the 8th, yeah, you're going to want to look at where your moon is placed for this one. And for Gemini in the 7th, you're going to look at your Mercury placement. But yeah, for and for the 6th house, Taurus, you're going to look at your Venus placement. All right, so Cancer in the 8th, 8th house is the house of birth, death, sex, transformation, sudden ups and downs, sudden gains and losses, sudden transformation. So, yeah, a lot of upheavals here, like a lot of craziness here. 8th house is the house of your in-laws. 8th house is the house of your joint savings, your joint inheritance, combined inheritance, and like joint investments and things like that, combined investments. So with Cancer being here, it kind of gives you like an up and down, like you could be, you know, it kind of gives you like, well, here, I'll say this, you might feel at home, you might feel very, very safe and like your in-laws or your family, pretty much. Like, that's who you choose to hang out with instead of your family, kind of thing. So, your in-laws might feel like family. They might feel more emotionally close, emotionally supportive, and things like that. And so yeah, that's a great thing. So as far as your investments, though, this could prove a little bit challenging because they could be up and down. They could be, you know, you lose money, then you gain it back, and then it's down and up and down. And why is that? Because the moon is in charge of the waters. The moon waxes and wanes. So, you know, the moon is not consistent. It wants to, you know, go everywhere, and it's like the moon waxes to full and wanes. It, you know, the tides rise, the tides fall, things like that. Those are all very important things to know when you're looking at Cancer or the moon. So I'd look at where your moon is placed, and is it in a good position or a bad position or a neutral position? And also look at the tithi of the moon. This means like what day were you born at in the moon cycle. So if the moon was waxing while you were being born, if you were born during a waxing moon, then this is a very good benefic sign. This means that your savings, your joint investments, your joint savings will grow with time. But if you were born with the waxing moon, that means that the waning moon. The waning moon, when the moon was going from full to new moon. Alright, so if you were born under a waning moon, then your joint savings could suffer, as well as your relationship with your mother. So yeah. So anyway, yeah, so this is one of those ones that you have to really watch out for. So instead of joint savings, if that turns out to be a bad idea for you, I would go with individual investments, individual savings, because you have Capricorn here in the second. So that means that, yeah, you won't have that initial like gain in your savings, but it'll go from a little bit to a little more, and rise over time. Persistence and patience. That's what Saturn's trying to teach you. So then we have a drink of water. So then we have the sign of Leo in your 9th house. So this means that your father could have been your teacher. You could have learned a lot from your father. It also means that there's this tie between government and higher education. So you might have had like you might have gone to like a government school, like for example, not like a private college or anything like that. Maybe have gone to a community college or something like that, where it's funded by tax dollars. Leo in the 9th house. This is a tricky one. It's like, Leo is the natural 5th house, placed in the 9th house, so you may, it shows a lot of like, well, maybe not a lot, but some college dating, some college fun. Things like that, because you have 5th house, or your 5th sign in the 9th house. So yeah, you might have gotten like a scholarship or something like that, a Pell Grant or something like that, to go attend, your higher education, your college. Shows that you might use your education to work in the government. You might go from, so, yeah, it also, 9th house is the house of your teachers, your gurus, your mentors, your good luck, really good luck. And, so yeah, you would have to look at where the sun is placed in your chart for more information on this kind of placement. So yeah, so anyway, then we have Virgo in the 10th house. So Virgo in the 10th house, it's like this makes you a very hard worker, very diligent, very intellectual, very, using your, intellect and critical thinking to analyze and pick apart things, and making sure that things are done correctly. You might have some perfectionism at work, or workaholism at work, so yeah. Shows that you might be in some sort of a service position, whether that's, being a public servant, being like a nurse or something like that, or being just in public service. You could be a nurse, you could be I don't know, you could be a bartender for all I know. But it just shows like you're going to use your intellect. You could be a financial analyst. You're going to use your intellect in your work. And Virgo is very particular, very picky, very nitpicky. It's like great attention to detail and things like that used in your work. So then we have Libra in your 11th house. So what is the 11th house? 11th house is the house of gains, the house of friendships, network circles, and humanitarianism, things like that. So Libra in the 11th house, this means that you're going to have a very balanced and very steady income. The 11th house is the house of gains, so the gains from your job are what your income. So it's basically it's the income, and so yeah, it's just very balanced. It's a very, very balanced income. You could be very, very good in your friendships and network circles. Very appealing to everybody. Like you're basically a Libra in the 11th, so it's like you make friends with everybody pretty easily, and very sociable and very, friendly, very loving, very peace, wanting to make peace and not have, conflict in your friend circles. So you might be like a mediator between your friends when they're having arguments. This kind of shows the ambassador, you being the ambassador to help your friends get along and things like that. So and then we have the sign of Scorpio in the 12th house. I was gonna say the 8th house, but 12th house. So Scorpio in the 12th. Oh boy. No, this is not a bad thing at all. It's like it shows that you 12th house is what the house of your spirituality, the house of leaving this world and going on to the next world, and just kind of the house of losses, the house of your sleep and bed pleasures, so sexual activity, things like that. And we have Scorpio here, so means that you're gonna have probably a good sex life. No, but Scorpio in the 12th house is like it's basically like occult knowledge and things like that. Secret knowledge, secret knowledge, occult knowledge, things like that. Like, for example, astrology. So if you are watching this video right now, that means that you're using your 12th house. So and obviously look at where your Mars is placed, but also look at where your K2 is placed. Because if you have K2 in your 12th house in Scorpio, you are basically destined to be a Vedic astrologer, pretty much. So that's a darn good placement right there. So And if you want a Vedic astrology, to become a Vedic astrologer, you can go to GeboTheShaman.com. I do have a Vedic astrology certification course, so you can check that out. Definitely highly recommend that. And when you purchase that course, you can get your very own website once you take my certification exam, because I have to make sure that you know your stuff in order to give you your website. So so yeah, a website comes with that where you can refer all your clients, and you can advertise that website and do whatever you want with it. So yeah, it's a pretty good deal there, a free website. And by the way, I have to pay basically an upkeep fee on that one to keep the website going. So then we have, let's see here, so aside from the astrology certification course, we have the astrology consultations. So I have my astrology readings. So I do have readings focusing on your relationships, on your career, on your sorry, just like a general reading, just a general reading. So I do career reading, relationship reading, and just a general reading. So then we have your birth time rectifications. So a birth time rectification is basically where I go in and look at your chart and figure out, I manipulate the time to figure out when exactly you were born. So I look at, you'll basically give me a time window of a few hours, and I'll look at the time window. And even if you don't have a time window, even if you just say I was born on this day, I don't know what my birth time was, or what or like what when I was born, like the time of day, because even that can be helpful. If you don't know any of that, it's very helpful to get a Vedic astrology reading. Yeah, it might take me a very long time to figure that out, because basically I have to look at every single thing in your chart. So it might take me a long time to figure that out, but I can and will figure it out and get it down to the exact minute. So the way I do this is by asking you a few questions, and if need be, I'll have you watch a couple of videos just to see what moon placement resonates best with you, because the pada of the moon changes very quickly throughout the day. So I can get a very good time window from that, using the pada of the moon. So anyway, then we have the rune readings. So I offer a 9-world rune reading. So that is basically geared towards what is happening with you immediately right now, and what will happen in your immediate future, like very soon. So rune readings, that's a 9-world rune reading. So it focuses on your current conscious experience,